Well, if I were to describe the process of my final practicum, I would say it was challenging but rewarding. I think that the thing that I found the most challenging was adapting to using the school books, um, and additionally dealing with the behavior of the students and trying to relate to them when I noticed that there were a lot of difficult issues between them. But I would say it was rewarding at the same time because regarding the books, I felt like that by the end of my final practicum, I was able to fully use the books in a way that I felt suited my teaching style, where I would transform the books into a presentation that made it more interactive for the students to engage with. And additionally, I made sure to implement activities that I thought would suit the students to activate the schemata, or maybe that has some type of relationship with the content that the book requires me to like teach. So overall, yes, I would say it was challenging but rewarding. Well, I would say that one of my strongest points throughout my practicum would be the way that I scaffold activities and make sure that I create like a seamless inclusion in difficulty between the different stages of the class. I think that throughout my final practicum, I was able to fully hone that ability. And additionally, I would say that one of my other strongest point is that I'm always trying to be aware of who my students are and making sure that they feel represented or seen in the lessons that I do. Like I make sure that if I'm gonna find examples, make sure that they are real life examples, and like I talk to them, like I ask them what they like, what they don't like, what they are interested in, and try to like add those things into the lesson so that they feel more included and seen in the lessons. What one thing though I would say that I need to keep developing would be working on differentiation materials and lessons. I work on that, especially with seventh grade, where I have one students that needed some accommodations. So I tried to do that through my presentations, but I don't think I was fully capable to create a material that adjusted to him because I couldn't create like worksheets, or I wasn't able uh, to like create more material for him that could be more suited for him and his necessities when it comes with English. So I think that I still need to keep working on that. So that's why recently I've been taking like an online course that is about diversity, and I hope that by like keep working on it and studying, I might be able to be better. But I think that I still need to work on that. Well, I would say that one of my strongest points throughout my practicum would be the way that I scaffold activities and make sure that I create like a seamless inclusion in difficulty between the different stages of the class. I think that throughout my final practicum, I was able to fully. Well, what I have learned about being a teacher is that I was constantly making quick decisions in the classroom. For example, a lot of the time I had to allow for the students to participate in school activities, so that meant that I had to shorten my class. And in the context that I was in, they were like really high achieving regarding the objectives that I had to achieve in each class. So I had to find like a balance between like doing what the school wanted me to do, but still allowing the students to participate in school activities. For example, there was a flea market and the students wanted to go. So I had to change some activities, like we had to do something less and maybe focus on other things, but we still were able to achieve the learning objective. And as a reward, we were able to go to the flea market, and that was something that I was constantly doing because there was a lot of activities in the school, and I wanted to foster my students' participation in those activities. So I made sure that I would allow time in my classes for them to be able to participate. So I was constantly making these quick decisions through the classroom to make it easy to fit the activities that the book require some modifications so that it would allow time for the students to participate in those activities. Another thing that I learned is that the students really enjoy seeing themselves reflected in the classroom. So I made sure to pay attention to the things that they were telling me about the things that they liked, they didn't like, what they were interested in, and making sure that I included that in my presentations or in the classroom. That way, they felt more motivated, and I also felt more motivated. So making sure that I was connected to my students' realities and likes in the classroom was really important to me as a teacher, to being a teacher, making sure that my students are reflected in those classrooms. So yes, I would say. One thing that I would like to highlight about uh, myself as a pre-service teacher is that, as I mentioned before, I had to make a lot of quick decisions, and I found myself being really flexible and understanding in compromising myself or my class or what I thought my class was supposed to be to fit better with the classroom environment. Something that outside of my real life, I don't think I'm that flexible or understanding of change. But in the classroom, I think that I'm really capable of adjusting, and I actually by the end ended up really enjoying like being seeing myself being capable of like persevering even though some things were not going the way that I thought they were supposed to go, or something unexpected happened and I had to deal with it. I think that by the end I ended up being really proud of myself. There was especially one case where I had to allow time because some students were supposed to come to the classroom, and I was really like putting, and it was a really challenging class for the sixth graders. But I made the quick decisions to adjust some activities, to maybe do less, and but still we were able to reach the final activity where they were able to produce like a model conversation. And I felt really proud of them because we had less time than I expected to have, and I knew it was a challenging class, but together we were able to like accomplish the two learning objectives of the class. So I felt really proud of my. Well, I would say that the points of increment have greatly contributed to my teaching education process, especially because by being aware of the things that I need to improve on, um, uh, I notice them through my daily teaching practices. Like, for example, I know that I need to keep working on differentiation. That's why I decided that I needed to look for external help and maybe do some courses on that, because I know it's one of my weaknesses, especially in the context that I was in. They didn't have a PA program, so I was basically alone while making those decisions, and I didn't have anyone to ask and consult on how to make those changes and adaptations. So by being aware of that, I decided that I needed to keep working on that, which I think that will greatly affect my teaching practices in the future, which I hope to get a job in a place where they have a peer program and be able to integrate and work with those professionals to like truly bring out the best in every student, because that is my goal. I want everyone in my class to be able to feel like they are achieving something daily, like I feel when I do my classes, that I am achieving something daily. Well, this last part was the most difficult one because it's difficult for me to step into my students' shoes and see myself. But I noticed that the last day when I was saying goodbye, a lot of the students were telling me that they really appreciated like my positive attitude and always being there, asking them questions about their likes and dislike, what I noticed about them. And one student like really commented that I didn't only make questions, but I actually listened to her, and I included one of her likes in one of the PowerPoint presentation, and she felt like really seen in that moment. So I really appreciated that comment. And I also some other students who had a lot of issues throughout the personal issues throughout my practicum, like where yes, they told me that they were touched by me, and because they were able to share their struggles, and because they shared it with me, I was able to talk with my mentor teacher and get them the help that they needed, which I think that uh, they would say that I was capable of like not only caring about them or about how they learn English, but I cared about them as people, as students, as kids. So yes, I would say that if they were to describe me, I think that they would say that I care about them because I truly do.